Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, I am taking a look at the Brook Wingman NS. This little converter will let you use a ton of different controllers on the Nintendo Switch. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, just a little over 3 years ago, I did a video on how to use your DualShock 3 or DualShock 4 on the Nintendo Switch via the Brook Super Converter. Well, 3 years later, Brook has come out with a brand new converter called the Wingman Converter NS. This will let you use the DualShock 3 and DualShock 4 on Nintendo Switch, but so much more. It also supports now the Xbox Elite 1, Xbox Elite 2, as well as Xbox 360 and Xbox One controllers to use on the Nintendo Switch. This is pretty huge. As an added bonus, and I really want to point this one out, Brook states that the Wingman NS converter is also compatible with the Xbox Adaptive Controller. So Brook, huge thumbs up for thinking about accessibility. Included in the box is the Brook Wingman NS converter, 2 Brook stickers, as well as QR codes for the user guide and firmware. The Wingman NS converter can be updated via Brook firmware, which they do update from time to time. To use the Wingman NS, simply plug it into any of the available USB ports on your Nintendo Switch dock. For this video, I tested out a bunch of different arcade sticks as well as a bunch of different controllers. For controllers, I used both first party as well as third party. If you're using a wired controller, simply plug the controller in and you're good to go. This can also be used wirelessly with the DualShock 3, DualShock 4, and Xbox One controllers. For the DualShock 3 and DualShock 4 controllers, you do initially need to connect it to the converter via a wire. For the Xbox One controller, you can just pair it to the converter via Bluetooth. I had fairly successful results with both Xbox and PlayStation controllers. For latency testing, I thought the best way to test this out was to compare it directly to the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. With the Xbox One controller paired to the Wingman NS in Bluetooth mode, I found the response time to be almost identical to that of the Joy-Cons. I really didn't notice much of a difference at all. Both the joysticks and the buttons responded the exact same. Both the DualShock 3 and DualShock 4 controllers in wireless mode were pretty much identical as well. The converter also seems to work just fine with third-party controllers. This is a Voye branded Xbox 360 controller and I had no issues with it. In terms of latency, everything looked to be the exact same. After testing out about 12 or so different controllers, the only one I ran into issue with was the GameSir G4. I have dropped this controller a ton of times and brought it with me traveling, and it's not necessarily in the best condition anymore. It was dropping inputs, and inputs were extremely delayed in wired mode, in Bluetooth mode, and in wireless 2.4G mode. I tested it out on my PC as well and encountered the same issue. So I think this is a controller issue and not a Wingman NS issue. Testing out a bunch of different fight sticks in PS3, PS4 mode, and some in Xbox 360 and Xbox One modes, I had no issue at all in terms of latency. In fact, I think they actually responded a little bit better than the Joy-Cons. They didn't drop any inputs at all, and I had an issue with the Joy-Con dropping an input every now and then. Now, all of that testing was done with the Switch in docked mode, but what about portable mode? Fortunately, I tested that as well. To connect the Wingman NS to the Switch in portable mode, you will need a USB to USB-C adapter. I'll leave a link to one in the description below. And all you have to do is just stick this adapter, provided I have it the right way, on top of the Wingman NS, stick this up into the Nintendo Switch, and you're good to go. And to prove this in a pretty clunky way, here is my Nintendo Switch. Don't mind the clear effects here. I do have a green screen on and it's kind of screwing up all the colors. But here, I'll put it in front. Here is my Xbox One controller paired to the Nintendo Switch via the converter. And you can see everything is working absolutely fine. Another huge benefit of the Wingman is that it supports motion controls. So right now I have the DualShock 4 connected wirelessly through the Wingman and I'm playing Breath of the Wild. What I'll do is I'll pull a bow here, and as soon as I move the DualShock 4, you can see the bow move as well. And it's pretty accurate. I can just move it just a little bit here for the DualShock 4, and you can see the bow move just ever so slightly. And I'll move it a little bit crazy now, and apologies if you get a little bit motion sick here, but I just wanted to show how nice and accurate this is. I actually like using the DualShock 4 for motion controls over the Joy-Cons. With the Joy-Cons, I find them They get a little off kilter after a little bit and a little less accurate than I'd like them to be, and this is incredibly less frustrating. Additionally, the Wingman features button remapping as well as turbo. Now, as to whether or not the Wingman is worth it, it's featured on Amazon here for $45, and at $45, I think it's well worth it to me. It gets a big thumbs up. If you already have PlayStation or Xbox controllers or an arcade stick, then this, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. For 45 bucks, it's cheaper than buying another set of Joy-Cons and considerably less expensive than buying another arcade stick specifically for the Switch. If you already own a Brook Super Converter for PS4, PS3 to Switch, you don't really need to upgrade to the Wingman NS, but if you are in the market for a brand new converter, I highly recommend checking out this. It really blew me away. Huge shout out to Brook for providing this to me for review. I did not think that this was going to be as good as it is. I am really impressed with it. But anyways, that is all I've got for today. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about the Wingman NS. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.